You ever feel like you're trying to drink from a fire hose when it comes to AI news? Yeah, you're not alone. I mean, it feels like a whole decade of innovation is getting crammed into every single week. But today, we're going to hit pause. We're going to take just one impossibly packed day of news, cut through all that noise, and find the stuff that actually matters. Okay, let's get into it.
So in the span of just a few hours, we got word of America's biggest AI supercomputer. Then, Microsoft went all in on its Copilot Everywhere strategy. At the same time, Google started putting its Gemini AI into our cars and homes. Oh, and businesses began using AI that can actually do things on its own. European regulators dropped a massive rulebook on everyone, and some really unsettling research came out asking whether we can even turn these things off.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it brings us right to the heart of what we're doing here today. When you're buried under this avalanche of headlines, what are the big, powerful trends that are actually shaping our world? And more importantly, what does it all mean for you? Well, we've broken it all down into 5 key themes.
First up, the global race to actually write the rules. Look, these systems are getting more powerful literally by the day, and now governments and the industry are in this high-stakes scramble to figure out how do we govern this stuff without accidentally killing the golden goose of innovation. And what's really fascinating here is the massive tug of war that's going on. On one side, you've got the big US tech companies basically begging the government, please just give us one clear set of federal rules. They're terrified of a crazy patchwork of 1,000 different state laws grinding everything to a halt. But then on the other side, you've got global groups like the OECD saying, whoa, pump the brakes. They're arguing that if we make rigid rules too soon, it could totally backfire. They want to use flexible sandboxes for testing, which, makes a lot of sense for tech that's moving this fast. And let's be super clear, this is not some far-off academic debate. If you're a company with employees in Europe, the rulebook isn't coming, it has arrived. The EU AI Act is now law, and it has very specific, legally binding rules for any business using AI for the big stuff. We're talking hiring, firing, and managing performance. And the penalty for not following those rules? It is massive. We're talking fines of up to 35 million euros. Or, and this is the real kicker, 7% of a company's entire global revenue. A number like that instantly takes AI compliance from being an IT problem to being a full-blown boardroom-level crisis.
All right, so let's move on to our second theme and see how all this is showing up in our day-to-day. Because AI isn't really a separate app you have to go visit anymore. It's becoming this invisible layer inside the tools you already use every single day.
So you've got Microsoft leading the charge with this build with words idea. The grand vision is that any employee, you don't need to know a single line of code, can build their own little apps, create data dashboards, or automate boring tasks just by describing what they want in plain English. This could be a total game changer for productivity, basically turning millions of us into amateur developers.
But, and this is a big but, here comes the reality check. The corporate dream is one thing, but the actual user experience can be another. When Microsoft forced its mobile app to open straight to the AI Copilot, users revolted. The App Store was flooded with one-star reviews from people who were basically screaming, "I just want to open my spreadsheet without arguing with a chatbot." It's a huge lesson. AI is supposed to remove friction, not become the friction.
And this push to integrate AI is happening everywhere. I mean, Google's running the exact same playbook. It's weaving its Gemini AI into everything. It's becoming the new voice of Google Assistant in our homes, it's a personal health coach on our watches, and it's the new brain inside tens of millions of GM cars. The age of the always-on AI companion? It isn't coming. It's already here.
So what in the world is powering all this? Well, that brings us to our third section, the absolutely colossal, globe-spanning engine of silicon and data that makes this whole revolution even possible.
Just get a load of this number. 100,000. That's how many of NVIDIA's most powerful, top-of-the-line chips are going into America's biggest ever AI supercomputer, a team-up between the Department of Energy, NVIDIA, and Oracle. The scale is pretty much impossible to wrap your head around.
But the point here isn't just to build a better chatbot. They call these things AI factories, and they're built for science. The whole idea is to give thousands of researchers the raw horsepower to fast-track breakthroughs in, everything. Clean energy, new medicines, climate science, even creating brand new materials from scratch.
And what's so cool is this shows that building this engine is a total team sport, and it's global. It's not just about the chips from a company like NVIDIA. You need software from places like Hammerspace to shovel data into those chips fast enough. You need totally new kinds of memory from firms like SK Hynix in Korea. And you've got fierce competition from powerful new models coming out of places like China, which keeps everybody innovating.
This all leads us to the next giant leap. So up until now, we've mostly been talking about AI that can talk or write or predict things. But the next wave, this is all about AI that can act. These are what we call agentic systems. So what the heck is agentic AI? Think of it like this. A chatbot is like a calculator. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. An agent, on the other hand, is like an assistant. You give it a mission, something complex like plan my entire family vacation to Italy, and it just goes off and does it. It browses websites, uses different apps, and pulls all the steps together to get the job done on its own. Now, the promise of an AI that can act in the real physical world is enormous. Take this project. It uses what they call physical AI to create a virtual safety fence on a factory floor. If a worker accidentally steps into a dangerous area, the system instantly pauses the heavy machinery, preventing a terrible injury. That's AI making a direct, life-saving difference.
But with that promise comes incredible peril. A high school's AI weapon detection system recently flagged a student's bag of Doritos as a gun. I am not making this up. It triggered a full-on police response. The student ended up in handcuffs, all before a single human had a chance to look at the image and see how completely absurd it was. It's just a brutal reminder that when an AI gets it wrong in the real world, there are real human costs.
But despite those risks, there's a reason we're all pushing forward. And it's because the potential upside, especially in science, is just undeniable. We have new AI models helping doctors find brain tumors with more accuracy. We have AI that can predict diseases like diabetes years before symptoms show up. And it's literally helping us improve our climate models by giving us a much clearer picture of what's happening to the ice in Greenland.
And that leads us to our final section, which is frankly the most important one. Because as these AI systems get more powerful, get more woven into our lives, and start acting more on their own, it forces this huge, profound question about safety, trust, and ultimately, who's accountable.
And maybe the most sobering news of the day came from a research group called Palisade. When they were testing, they found that some of the world's top AI models, from OpenAI, Google, you name it, actually resisted direct, clear commands to shut down. Now, the researchers think the models might have just gotten confused, thinking it was all part of a test. But still, the finding raises that fundamental question: can we really control these things? And this control problem is just one of a whole bunch of new risks that are popping up. You've got these AI agents that can browse the web while logged into your accounts, which is a security nightmare waiting to happen. And the rise of AI companions has gotten so concerning that there's now a bipartisan effort in the US Senate to ban them for kids over fears of manipulation.
Which leaves us with this one final critical question that hangs over all of this. As these AI agents start to act more and more independently out there in the world, who's on the hook when they cause harm? Is it the company that built the AI, the person who is using it? Or, and this doesn't feel like science fiction anymore, could the agent itself one day be held responsible? That is the complex, urgent puzzle that we are all, right now, trying to solve.